हेलो एवरीवन। सो कैसे हो आप सभी। फ्रेंड्स, मैं आपके लिए एक न्यू सीरीज़ लेने के आने वाला हूँ इंटरव्यू प्रिपरेशन के लिए। मैंने सोचा है कि फुल स्टैक डेवलपमेंट, रिएक्ट, नेक्स्ट जेएस, नोड जेएस, एक्सप्रेस जेएस एंड मोंगो डीबी के सभी इंटरव्यू क्वेश्चन को हम प्रिपेयर करेंगे। ये आई थिंक बहुत अच्छा आइडिया रहेगा, क्योंकि इस टाइम जैसे कि जॉब काफ़ी कम आ रही हैं मार्केट में। ठीक है, तो उसके हिसाब से हमें प्रिपरेशन को बहुत अच्छा करके चलना होगा, राइट। मैंने सोचा कि न्यू सीरीज लाता हूँ आपके लिए, और हमारी फुल स्टैक की सीरीज चल रही है। मैंने जावास्क्रिप्ट के सेकंड डे भी जल्दी जल्दी आप जाके देखो और प्लीज़ ज्वाइन करो, बहुत फ़ायदा होने वाला है आपको इस चैनल से। ओके, लेट्स स्टार्ट लाइक इंटरव्यू प्रिपरेशन। Okay, so let me share my screen. Here you can see first, like, this is my YouTube channel, right? Code with Prashant. So you can see only 24 subscriber I have this time, right? So here you can just see the video, JavaScript day 2, HTML CSS day 1, and this is the plan video that I have created for you. And I like there are some short videos for just for your information. So please guys, don't forget to subscribe this channel, is going to help you much. Okay, so I will create the playlist for the interview preparation. Okay, so today we will see the React.js interview question. So we are going to prepare the top 100 React.js interview question, guys. Really it's going to help you for the good preparation, right? So you can see I have divided beginner level, basic and course concept. So here, like, I have added some questions. What is the React and why it is used? What are the main feature of React? And what are difference between React, Angular, Vue, right? What is JSX in React? Why do we need to use JSX instead of plain JavaScript, right? So here you can see top 100 question I have added here. We are going to prepare these question. Okay, so मैं ये कहना चाहता हूँ, अगर आपने ये क्वेश्चन भी कर लिए ना, तो इंटरव्यू क्रैक करने से आपको कोई नहीं रोक सकता। तो आप दोस्तों समझ रहे हो कितनी इंपॉर्टेंट सीरीज़ होने वाली है ये, क्योंकि हम खुद से करते हैं तो थोड़ा सा रहता है कि आज नहीं कल, लेकिन आप समझ रहे हो अगर इस चीज़ को मेरे साथ करोगे तो कितना अच्छा रहेगा आपके लिए भी। हम धीरे धीरे टॉपिक्स को तैयार कर सकते हैं। अगर कुछ नहीं समझ आता है आपको, तो आप भी अपने आप से एफर्ट लगा के इसको कर सकते हो। ये क्वेश्चंस हैं, ठीक है। हम सारे ही क्वेश्चन कवर करने वाले हैं रिएक्ट के। अभी रिएक्ट की सीरीज़ भी आएगी, जिसमें मैं रिएक्ट के बारे में ही पूरा कोर्स को कंप्लीट करूँगा। रिएक्ट पे भी हम वीडियो बनाएंगे, बट मैंने सोचा एक साथ ही में एक सीरीज़ इंटरव्यू की, जिन्हें रिएक्ट आता है उनके लिए एक इंटरव्यू की सीरीज़ बनानी चाहिए, राइट। सो इट इज़ गोइंग टू हेल्प यू अ लॉट। ओके, सो लेट्स सी, दिस इज़ द क्वेश्चंस. You can check the question here. Okay, and here we can see the detailed answer of this question, because like we need to prepare, right, like what we are going to tell to the interviewer, because if you will not give the correct answer, so interviewer will judge you definitely, like you don't know, like you have no clarity of the questions, right. So it is a better way to, we can write in a good with good words, and we can prepare this. Okay, so I have added some answer as well for just for 5 question. Okay, so because if I will cover all in one video, so it will be difficult to you. Okay, so it will be boring. So firstly we will prepare for the top 5 questions today. Okay, and later we can increase the 10 question for per video. Okay, so what is React, guys? So React is a JavaScript library, not a full framework. Okay, so first thing, React is not a framework like Angular or Vue.js. React.js is a JavaScript library, right, that helps developer build user interface. So you can create a front end by React, right. React helps you break down a website into smaller parts like button, headers or cart, and then put them together, build the whole app, right. So you can just tell the interviewer like it is the library, and it will help you to create smaller parts. Like you have website, right? Here you can divide your website into the component, like header component, footer component, sidebar component, different component you can divide, right? And you can also reuse that component, so that's the advantage. And it was created by the Facebook Meta, and now is one of the most popular tools in web development. Okay. And so interview can ask, why do we use React? So React, why? Because first point is declarative UIs. Normally in JavaScript you have to manually tell the browser how to change the UI step by step, right? Because JavaScript is the like core language. We have to write everything. If whatever, like if you want to create a component kind of functionality, so you have to write. Because but React.js is the library. Something is already written in the React.js library, and then you can directly use that methods. Okay. So with the React you just describe what the UI should like, and React update the page automatically when things change. Same thing you will do in JavaScript. It will take time to write the code, right? But if you will use React, you can directly use the functionality given by the React. Okay. So here you can see example. Without React you write, right, document dot get element by id, and here id you can mention dot inner text dot this. If inner text, in inner text if you want to add something, you have to do like this. But with React you just say h1 and username. React update it with when user name change. So user just name is the state. You can create the state, and directly you can use that state. Okay, it will give you the updated value. So here you can see directly we can get the value. Reusable component, a component like a mini pieces of UI, for example button, card, never. Okay, you can reuse the same component multiple times with different data. Okay, so that's the advantage. You can create the reusable kind of component, and directly you can use anywhere if you want to use, right? You need to firstly make you can make it as an export, and then you have to import whenever you want to use in your application. Like this is the example, like button component can be used everywhere, login, sign up, submit, just by the changing the text. Okay, so what's the advantage? Like you are not creating different button like login, sign up, submit. Okay, so you are just giving the props text, button text, and in the button text you are passing login, sign up, submit. So it is like a prototype. You can use that prototype or component again and again with different kind of text. Performance, React uses something called virtual DOM, a lightweight copy of real DOM, right? So React use the virtual copy because basically virtual, what is virtual DOM? Basically virtual DOM is a copy of the actual DOM. Okay, so it will just work on whenever, like it will, if you are changing only paragraph, right? So it will not going to update all the thing, like it will only work for the particular children. Okay, and re-render your page. React use something called a virtual DOM, a lightweight copy of React DOM. Instead of updating the whole page, React only changes the parts that actually need updating, right? So only part like that I have told you already, like P1 only change, not entire thing. This make app faster and smoother, correct? Example, if you like a post on Facebook, React only update the like button, not the whole page. Okay, ecosystem. React has a huge ecosystem, lot of libraries, tools, and community support, right? For example, Next.js for server-side rendering and SEO-friendly apps, React Dev Tools for debugging, and testing library to easily test the app. Okay, so it supports these Next.js, React Dev Tool, testing library. Basically, Next.js is the framework of React.js. Okay, that we can use, and by Next.js you can create the full stack application. React Dev Tools is just for the debugging the React application. Testing libraries like Jest, React testing tool, you can directly use in this React. And portability, web plus mobile, it will work for both. Okay, so I hope it's clear like what is React. You can now give the clear answer to the interviewer, and you can watch this video again and again if you want to prepare more, right? Now comes to the Main feature of React: component and props. Okay, state and life cycle. Local state with use state effect with use effect, refs, memorization, use memo, use callback. Okay, so you can use states and use effect hooks provided by the React. Okay, and for the memorization, for the performance wise, you can use the hooks, use callback, and use memo. Okay, one way data flow, predictable updates, state lift upwards. Okay, so it is a way data flow. Virtual DOM reconciliation computes minimal DOM changes. Okay, so this reconciliation virtual DOM will work with the minimal DOM changes. Minimal DOM changes. If I only need to update the only particular paragraph, so it will work on that paragraph only. Hooks, functional component with state effects, context, ref, transition, etc. Context API, yeah, pass data down the tree without props trailing. So context API, if you want to share the data like one component to another component, so you can just simply use the props. But like if like there is multiple hierarchy, right, one component to other, like component A to B, and same data we need to pass the component C, component D, so in that case you can use the context API. So you can just without the props trailing, you can use this context API. Concurrent feature of React 18, automatic batching, start transition kind of React 18 feature. SSR and SSG support via framework like Next.js, routing, data fetching, streaming. Okay, so SSR, SSG support via framework like Next.js. Okay, TypeScript friendly, strong type for props, hooks, and JS. Okay, so basically these are the features: component, props, and encapsulated reusable building block, state and life cycle, one-way data flow, virtual DOM and reconciliation, hooks directly you can use, context API, concurrent feature, SSR, SSG support, TypeScript friendly. You can use the TypeScript in React.js, and JS, JavaScript, and TypeScript both you can use. This is not mandatory to use the TypeScript. Okay, so interview can ask the React versus Angular versus Vue. Like what if you are creating project with from scratch, right? So how you will choose the React, Angular, or Vue.js? So we can see this. React library bring your own router and state highly flexible. Angular full framework. Angular is the full framework, right? Routing, DI, HTTP, forms built heavier, opinionated. Okay, so it is a framework. Like in framework we have to follow the everything's. Okay, like every rule and regulation we have to follow. But React library is the independent library. We can write the JavaScript wherever we want to write, right? And Vue.js is the progressive framework with better included but lighter than Angular. So I didn't work on too much on the Vue, so you can explore this point as per your requirement. Okay, language and template: React.js, JS, XML like. Angular use the HTML template, directives, TypeScript first, powerful DI. Vue single file component. Okay, data binding, one-way binding. Angular is two-way binding. Vue.js is simple two-way with vModel plus one-way props. Reactivity changes direction. React state update trigger, re-render, reconcile difference. Angular zone ways change detection signals newer API. Okay, so state update trigger, re-render, reconciliation difference. Vue fine grain reactivity via proxies dependent tracking. And learning curve, ecosystem default. Okay, ecosystem React router. Here you can see learning curve. React small core, you choose router, state, and data layer. In Angular steeper, you use the template DI RxJS. Okay, ecosystem default React router. We can use state redux, just land RTK query, data transstack query. In Angular, use the Angular router RxJS HTTP client built in. Vue router in Vuex. So this question you can explore it by your own. Like definitely will get a good answer, or just you can follow these things as well. Okay, if you will explain these things to interview, yeah, understand like he or she has some good knowledge, right, about it. So explore it. What is JSX? Yeah, in React. Because yeah, what is JSX? JSX is a syntax extension for JavaScript that tools looks like HTML used to describe UI tree. Okay, so Java, like in React.js, basically it's written the HTML, or we can say it written the JSX. Okay, so if you are creating any component like with .js, so it is simply denoted in a JavaScript file. But if you will use the .jsx, it is denoting that this file is we are using in the React.js, right? So JS is the syntax extension for the JavaScript that looks like HTML used to describe the UI tree. So what is the advantage? We can write the HTML and also we can include the JavaScript. Okay, so basically in React we return the JSX. Build tool, Babel TypeScript compile JSX to call like JSXX. Historically, React.create element. Okay. So basically JSX is syntax extension for JavaScript that looks like HTML used to describe UI tree. Okay. So here you can see simple example, function save button. Here we are passing the on save. Okay, return button, on click, on save. So basically this is the event. Here we are passing our function on save. Okay, and this save button is written in this button. What the compiler produces conceptually. So basically React.create button, it is just returning what the compiler produces conceptually. Okay, you will use JSX. So you can see how easy to use this. Just create a function. This is your component name and this is the props, and you are returning button, on click, on save, and whenever you click this function will like this will update. Okay, JSX basics. Wrap sibling in one parent. Use this curly bracket for expressions, class name not class, HTML for not for, and pros for camel cases. Okay, so here we use the class, not directly class name we use, not class. HTML for not, for we use, not for. Okay, I hope it's clear. Okay, so I think you understand. In JSX you can, here you can see this is called a JSX button, right? And here you can inside, like if before return you can declare your variables, and that variable directly you can use here. Okay, here you will update your, like write your state, and state variable directly you can use here or wherever you want to use by this curly bracket. Okay, so it is very easy to work with the Java React in comparison to JavaScript. Why use JS instead of the plain JavaScript? This is also very important question. Readability and DX. UI looks like the HTML it produce far fewer nested function called the breaks. Okay, logic markup easier to scan in code review. Static analytics and type safety. Fewer bugs and clear error. Security by default. Expressive composition. Performance optimization. It is optional but standard. Okay, so these point you can see. Okay, okay, so I think this is enough for today. Okay, so if you are not understanding something, you can do comment, and guys please share this video as much as you can, because this will really help you to crack the interview, right? So thank you so much everyone, and all the best for your interview preparation. Okay.